The crowd had gathered under the open daytime sky, sunlight bouncing off the massive outdoor stage and reflecting in thousands of excited eyes. What was supposed to be another glamorous afternoon concert suddenly felt different, heavier, charged with something uncomfortable. In the middle of bright lights, giant speakers, and cheering fans stood a man no one had noticed before, a janitor in a faded blue uniform, hands rough from years of cleaning floors others walked across without a second glance. And standing opposite him was a world-famous singer, adored by millions, smiling in a way that made the air feel sharp instead of warm. No one knew yet that this ordinary afternoon was about to turn into a moment that would shake every heart watching. Before we go any further, if you believe in kindness, second chances, and the idea that every human being has hidden value, take a moment to like this video, share it with someone who needs hope, comment your thoughts, and subscribe to our channel Kindness Thread. Your support helps stories like this reach more hearts. The janitor had been working at the venue since early morning, sweeping aisles, wiping seats, and collecting trash left behind by rehearsals. He moved quietly, carefully, almost invisibly, as he always did. His name rarely mattered to people, his presence was something they only noticed when he wasn't there. Music had always lived inside him, though. Long before he wore a janitor's uniform, he used to hum melodies while working odd jobs, singing softly during lunch breaks, letting music be the one place where life didn't feel so heavy. But life had not been kind. Dreams were expensive, and survival came first. So the singing stayed hidden, locked away behind duty and exhaustion. As the famous singer prepared for her performance, surrounded by assistants and cameras, she noticed the janitor standing near the edge of the stage, cleaning quietly. Something about his calm demeanor seemed to irritate her. In a moment meant to entertain the crowd, she decided to turn him into part of the show. With a confident laugh and dramatic gestures, she brought attention to him, framing it as a playful challenge. The crowd reacted with curiosity and amusement, assuming it was all harmless fun. The janitor felt his chest tighten. He hadn't asked for attention. He hadn't asked to be seen. He was pulled onto the stage under the bright afternoon sun, the heat mixing with embarrassment. Faces blurred together as thousands stared at him. His uniform looked even more worn under the lights, his hands trembling slightly. The singer stood confidently nearby, certain this moment would only make her shine brighter. The idea that this quiet man could possibly match her talent never crossed her mind. To her, it was a joke. To him, it felt like standing at the edge of a cliff. The music began softly, a familiar melody that stirred something deep inside him. Fear tried to take control, whispering all the reasons he should fail. He thought about the years he'd spent cleaning instead of chasing dreams, about the times he'd swallowed disappointment and kept going anyway. For a brief second, he considered letting the moment pass, giving the crowd exactly what they expected, an awkward, forgettable performance. But then something shifted. The noise faded. The faces disappeared. All that remained was the music. He closed his eyes and sang. The first note wasn't loud, but it was pure. It carried weight, the kind that comes from lived experience rather than training alone. The crowd began to quiet, laughter dissolving into confusion. As he continued, his voice grew stronger, richer, filling the open air with emotion that felt almost physical. Every note carried years of struggle, sacrifice, and silent hope. People felt it in their chests before they understood it with their minds. The famous singer's smile slowly faded. This was not what she had expected. The janitor's voice soared effortlessly, reaching notes that felt impossible, bending emotion in ways that made the audience hold their breath. The song transformed from a moment of mockery into something sacred. Sunlight shimmered as if even the day itself was listening. Some people in the crowd wiped their eyes. Others stood frozen, stunned by the raw beauty unfolding in front of them. He sang like someone who had nothing left to lose and everything to give. Each breath carried truth. Each note shattered the invisible walls people build between important and unimportant lives. The crowd, once eager for entertainment, now witnessed something real. When the final note faded into silence, the air felt different, lighter, yet heavy with emotion. For a moment, no one moved. Then applause erupted, not the polite kind, but the kind that rises from the soul. Cheers echoed across the venue, louder than anything heard before that day. The janitor opened his eyes, overwhelmed, unsure if what he felt was real. He wasn't smiling yet. He was simply standing there, absorbing the impossible reality that people were finally seeing him. The famous singer stood still, forced to confront what had just happened. Her attempt to mock had turned into her own humbling. In that moment, the spotlight shifted, not just on stage but inside every heart watching. The janitor hadn't just sung better, he had reminded everyone that greatness often hides where no one bothers to look. After that day, nothing was the same for him. Opportunities came unexpectedly. People who once walked past him now asked his name. But more important than recognition was the quiet confidence growing inside him. He realized that his worth had never depended on a uniform, a title, or approval. It had always been there, waiting for courage to bring it into the light. As the sun began to dip lower in the sky, the crowd slowly dispersed, carrying the memory of that performance with them. Some would forget the details, but not the feeling. They had witnessed kindness absent and humanity revealed. They had seen how quickly power can be humbled and how deeply truth can move us when we least expect it. If this story is touching your heart right now, if it reminds you of someone who's been overlooked or of a dream you've buried, please take a moment to like this video, share it with others, and subscribe to Kindness Thread. Your engagement helps spread stories that heal, inspire, and remind us to see one another fully. Before this story ends, we have a special request for you. Please comment below with the words, "Hidden Voices Matter," if you believe every person deserves respect, dignity, and a chance to be heard. The janitor walked off the stage that day under the same daylight he had worked beneath for years, but he was no longer invisible. And for everyone who watched, the real lesson wasn't about music at all. It was about listening, truly listening, to the quiet voices around us, because sometimes the most powerful notes come from the hearts we least expect.